Hello everyone and welcome. It's Apex Racing TV live from Road America Elkhart Lake. This is the Apex Racing League Formula Renault 3.5 Championship. My name is Marco Barbanera. Race 1, first round of the season, we had Kevin Ellis Jr., the Apex Racing UK World Championship driver with us. Race 2 we had Sam Fitzpatrick, and Race 3, the great return of Wei Yan Chan. Hello man, so glad to hear you.
Hello Marco, hello everyone. Yeah, great to be back again after some time away from the booth. It's always great to come on with you, Marco, to cover some.
It's the third round of the championship, and we are in the middle of the qualifying session. Just a very quick rundown on the standings with Martin van Loosenhoorn is the championship leader. He's got 352 points. He won 3 of the 4 races we had, race 1 and 2 at Silverstone and race 1 at the Nürburgring. Then Boris Perstra, his teammate, second place, 240 points. Matteo Calistani is sitting in third with 216. Same points for Byron Daley in P4 for Scuderia Carolina, and in P5 it's Michael Partington from Trasmaster Mivano Racing. Then it's Gafencu, Josh Thompson, winner of race 2 at the Nürburgring, Joseph Ringrosa, Alessandro Roccatello, and Dave Cadmore with 128 points. He rounds up the top 10. So Wayan, you have been away for a bit, like you said, due to important commitments in real life, and you come back and you find a very different iRacing from what we used to have just a few weeks ago, because we have, of course, the day-night transitions with these moving clouds, the weather, and all that nice stuff. And we have 2 new Formula cars, the Formula 3 and this one, the Formula Renault 3.5. Did you have the chance to try this car? Even though I know you are more of a, I watch you on your streams, you are more often than not doing NASCAR, if I'm not mistaken, and other nice oval stuff. Did you had the chance to drive this car?
Yes, Marco. Unfortunately not. I mean, great that iRacing has got so many new things to put on the table for us members, but unfortunately haven't really had the chance to try these new Formula cars for quite a bit. Although I did purchase this Renault 3.5, and I think it drives quite nicely. Can feel the power there, and not to mention the sound. It's just fantastic.
The sound is absolutely fantastic, and I absolutely agree with you. Also, the racing has been quite different to what we had with the McLaren MP430. You will see we had Silverstone and the Nürburgring, and we had 4 fantastic rounds with great battling all over the field, wheel-to-wheel action. The car is much more simpler than the MP430. It has DRS, but it works in a different way. You get 8 activations per race, no matter where you are, no matter who's in front, if you're attacking, defending, but you have only 8 activations. So especially in the second race, which is a bit longer, 40 minutes, it really puts a premium on the strategy side of things, and you have to really think about when to use it, and of course why you are using it. Of course, it's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. And drivers, Wayan, have told me that they are very relieved of the fact that they don't have to, think about pushing buttons, the hybrid management. They basically only have to concentrate on the driving, and it has been a very welcome change in the world of iRacing.
Sure, I think it comes as quite a welcome relief for the drivers who I think you have less things to worry about, like you mentioned, and it kind of brings back the what all of us are racing drivers, what we are out for, just racing without worrying about so many other things that kind of get in the way of good racing. So of course, with this car around, like you mentioned, unlike the Formula One cars, um, it's more down to purely on I guess driver's abilities than too much of technology that we see with some of the other cars.
And of course, we have to mention the track, because we are of course racing at Road America, one of the best tracks I think in the world. and you know, it has, like I say many times, all kinds of corners, all kinds of challenges for these drivers, straights, elevation changes, slow corners, fast corners, dangerous corners. For example, the kink in the final part of the lap. I really think that these cars will absolutely shine in this on this track. I honestly cannot wait, and it seems like the Learn to Race guys have once again found their magic, because they are sitting 1 through 3 on the starting grid, with Matteo Calestani sitting in 4th. We'll have the starting grid for you in just a second for this first race of the day. And here we go in pole position. We got Martin van Loosenhoorn and Boris Proster, Danny Cross. Like I said, the Learn to Race guys. Of course, Danny Cross is looking for a race without trouble. He had 4 races and 4 incident-filled races. Matteo Calestani, a very consistent driver, is in 4th, and Jerome Hag, he debuted at the last round, and he was very quick, 2nd place, I think, in the first race, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have Thomas Knoll, and then Byron Daley. Joshua Chin, Ashley Beer, David Cadmon, Richard Gafencu is in P11, then Jamie Wilson, Adam McNally, Billy Rose in P14, Max Berta is in P15, 16th is Raul Alvarez making his debut, and in P17, rounding up the grid, is Nick Johnston, also from Scuderia Carolina. It would be better if I, change the page of the overlay so everyone can see the starting grid. But here they are, all the drivers. So, Weian, who's your pick for this first race?
My pick is the fastest driver, Marco.
He won 3 races out of the 4, Martin van Loosenhoorn, so it's a good pick, I would say, and I would go with him. In also 3rd race this season, 3rd round this season, and 3rd different livery for the Learn to Race guys. I like the 2nd the better, which was mostly orange, and I love orange, and it was also blue, which a combination that I absolutely love. Now they are having this white, green, black paint scheme. We'll see if it will give them even more speed, as we are just 15 seconds away from the start, just waiting for Richard Gafencu to line up on the grid. We say hello to everyone joining us on the chat, and we are ready for a fantastic hour of racing. 20 minutes race 1, 40 minutes race 2, as the lights go red, and then they are off, and we start with Van Loosenhoorn in the lead, Spolstra and Kroos, Linus Stern, the top 3 guys. A little bit of a mist, maybe even a bit of fog in the air as the drivers come through the first corner, and it seems like the top 3 guys have been able to keep their positions, of course, as Calestani has been jumped by Hag, and Billy Rose is already having a trip through the grass, and Calestani and I think Joshua Chin had some contact there, and for Calestani it's back to the back of the field as the drivers go for the first time through this fantastic front backstretch, I would say, into the very tough left-hander braking zone.
So fairly good start so far to the race, and we've already had some 3 wide battles as they went down that long stretch there. As drivers now, they've gone towards side-by-side racing as they go through that corner back there. And our camera's back to Martin van Loosenhoorn as he leads through this.
Just want to catch very quickly a replay of what happened at the start, because we had two moments. One was Billy Rose going out, but the big moment was one of the championship contenders, Matteo Calestani, going for a spin. Let's see what happened. He lost one position, and then he got clipped. Oh, we had multiple drivers making contact with each other. He was hit by an orange car. And as you can see right now, Weian, the cloud have rolled in, and this is so nice to see when you are commentating on the races. You have all sorts of different, kinds of weather, and it's nice to see the sun go behind the clouds, then come back. As the first lap is in the books, Van Loosenhoorn, Spolstra and Kroos, as you can see, Calestani is trying to make his comeback as Thomas Knoll goes in the pits.
That's interesting change as we just have a look here with David Cudmore trying to make a move ahead of Kalistani. Of course, now with I believe different track temperatures at different areas. Is that right, Marco? With the
Exactly.
sun moving,
Yes. Yes.
so that's going to make a twist to how the drivers handle their lap times. Richard Gafenku, I do apologize. Richard Gafenku trying to go for a move ahead of Byron Daley. I think he's just done that, and he's not actually made the move, and he still sits in P.
Yeah, Gafenko went by Daly there on the straight, and now Daly is trying to respond. And also you see the two Team Chimera drivers, Joshua Chin and Jamie Wilson, trying to make up some position. Nick Johnston started 17th, and thanks to some overtakes and a little bit of luck, he's sitting in P9, so maybe he can help his teammate there, and he goes for a move on Wilson. He's not able to complete it. Of course, look at this fantastic corner. The King has in front of them Joshua Chin and Wilson go side by side. Chin is on the inside and is able to make the move up to P6. So it's Chin, Wilson, Johnston and Daly from P6 to P9 with Richard Gafenko in front of them, and in the back Johnston goes for a move on Wilson. And Wilson has a moment, a great save there.
So from what have been quite interesting moves there through the kink, and now they come back to Main Street. Jamie Wilson currently P10, and he tries to battle, I believe, Byron Daley, who's come down to P9. Now they make their way through the first corner. Sorry.
No, don't worry, man. I also worth remembering that the first corner, then this one here is the third corner, because the straight in between the two corners is apparently a corner on the official track map.
Exactly right.
Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Oh, as David Cudmore goes for a ride into the dirt. Solar Ferret. Joshua Chin has got a problem, I think. He has, and he's in the wall on the left side, the tire barrier there. Let's see what happened.
So riding on board Joshua Chin, yep, losing traction mid-corner. I think that's perhaps a common issue with Formula cars like that. If you're too hard on the brakes, you end up swinging your car inwards and into the inside barrier you would go.
Yes, and you know, Joshua Chin is one of the fastest drivers that I know, especially with the IndyCar, with the Dallara IndyCar, and he's had some problems at the Nürburgring. So this is a very, very challenging car to drive. Well, I tried it, but I'm terrible, so it's not worthy to tell my experience. But you have to be very, very gentle, especially when you push the gas pedal coming out of the corners, because this car gives you a ton of downforce, but still you have to be so delicate when you push the gas pedal coming out of the corners, otherwise you are going for a spin.
Now looks like Adam McNally is going to, or rather he tried to go for a shot with Jamie Wilson, but he still sits in P9, and riding on board him as he goes through turn 2 there and over to turn 3. So we now come to the second long stretch of Road America. As he tries to find a specific spot to take advantage of the slipstream, he sits gap between him and Jamie Wilson is at, I believe, half a second, 0.4 of a second. So he's now taken a better line through that corner and perhaps closed up the gap by a bit. And now he comes over through this corner and
be careful, man, because it could have been a lot worse, but he loses one position to Calestani. Like I said, it could have been a lot worse. Also, Daly seems to fancy his chances, and so he does around the outside as they go near the carousel, and behind them Joshua Chin as well. So a disaster for McNally, who is for the moment able to repel the attack from Joshua Chin, and maybe going for a move on Daly. It's a very, very brave move there at the kink, and he makes it work.
Man.
But look at Chin.
Oh,
Three
what a move there
wide
through the 3 wide.
behind the trees, and hopefully they re-emerge from behind the trees.
Oh!
Wow.
Attempted 3 wide there. Attempted assassination attempt there. I'm not too sure about, but now Byron Daley in P11, Joshua Chin in P10. So I think he's emerged there still with more advantage over Byron Daley at McNally. So now they come back along this main stretch. Byron Daley, right, or rather, was that Adam McNally? Yes, McNally that made full use of the slipstream over this long straight, and he now takes the inside. He makes his move ahead of Daley and McNally up to P11.
Yes, and this is what I said, earlier. This is not the MP430. You see, the guys are able to race side by side, wheel to wheel. The slipstream effect is very, 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 very strong. As you can see, now it's Daley once again trying to make a move on McNally.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting. They're very close to each other. Running again with Daley as you just look at the way he handles those corners. Dynamic track surfaces also mean that he would have bits and pieces of grass and dirt on the track surface, as you've just seen earlier. Those that the tires kick on to the track. Now he makes his way through the carousel. Very important here to get the right steering angle, to get the right line through this part. As he now comes back here, and he makes his way through the kink.
There's great anticipation for the 24 hour of Daytona. Is going to be the first race, endurance race with day-night transitions, and I'm also curious to see, as Ashley Beard I think has got a problem, big problems for the Excite Energy driver, and also Nick Johnston I think has got a problem. He's rounding the final corner, and let's go back and see what happened, because it's two drivers that were in a good position. Let's see. This is the first replay. This is Ashley Beard, who lost the car coming out of Canada corner, and basically he planted himself into the wall there, and I think that is going to be a retirement. And see Nick Johnson. I think he only had a spin, so nothing major to his car. Look at that, he completely lost the car. Ah, no, he hit the wall there as well, so maybe some damage for him as well. So you see, you can never lower your guard against this car.
That goes to show how tricky these new Formula Renault 3.5s, of course, new to iRacing. As we just said, that Cudmore made the move on Max Berta, and Cudmore is up to
That was Jerome Ag in 4th position. And he, I think, is out of this race. That was a very, very big hit. You see moving on the grass, trying to stay out of the way of his opponents. But I think even if he brings that car back to the pits, look at the amount of damage on his car. I think that will be that for him. Let's catch a replay of that as well.
Hag taking this corner, and he's taking the exit curbs a bit too much over the exit grass there, and you just lose the traction on your outside, and there you go, rotating towards the end.
So, let's move back to the battle at the front with Van Loosener and Spurstra. They are 0.9 of a second away from each other. I was talking about the Daytona 24 hours. I'm curious to see what how will, of course, the night will be fantastic there. But also I remember last year, basically the apron of the oval, of the NASCAR oval, in some points, especially in NASCAR 1 and 2, resembled more Omaha Beach than a proper dirty part of the track. So I'm curious to see if they made changes to that, because I'm not kidding. You can see it on the live stream I did of the race last January. You had basically a beach. There was so much sand accumulated over the race that it was. If you went there, I think you could have put your sunglasses and sunscreen and go for a little bit of sunbathing there. So hopefully they change that as well, because it didn't look very good.
Yeah, I think that could have been a track for Rallycross, man.
Yeah. Oh well. So yeah, they already have it. That it was before I think they did the Rallycross at Daytona, but that maybe that this is where they took. That was where they took inspiration as the two Team Chimera drivers, Wilson and Chin, with Chin making the move. Not great opposition from Wilson, so I think I'm quite sure these two guys are on the radio with each other. As
Yeah,
Danny Cross all alone in P3, but oh, this is what he needs. He needs a clean race, finish a race, get some good points because Van Loosener the Sportstra have been very quick in all 4 races, and so has been Danny Cross, but Danny Cross has had a lot of problems. Oh, and Gafenku is around in the final corner as well.
yeah.
And
I'm
he
just a
goes,
little
yeah.
curious though. There are quite a lot of dramas, and we're only 15 minutes into the race.
Yes, we are 30 minutes into the race, so 7 minutes left. Let's see Gafenku. You really cannot go. I mean, you have to be super careful because the moment you push the gas pedal and you are sitting on a curb or worst, you have two wheels in the dirt or on the grass, as Wilson moves in front of Shin once again. Basically, you are as good, you are destined to go for a spin if you're lucky or hit the wall if you're unlucky. You have to be super careful when you push the gas pedal coming out of the corners with this car, and the curbs are your worst enemy.
So it does go to show how much of a respect you have to give to these former Renault cars. As we now have a look at Joshua Chin again, making the move. So battle between both teammates along this section of the track. So I think huge amounts of respect that goes between these two drivers. And it is now Joshua Chin in P5 pulling ahead of his teammate Jamie Wilson, and now they make their way through the kick.
Yes, so these two guys, I thought it was like a team order earlier in the previous lap to let Joshua Chin by. That wasn't the case because Wilson is battling, and this is what we want to see absolutely. As now Chin is trying to get a little bit of space between himself and his teammate, even though, like I said, the slipstream effect is so big in this car. It's not easy, especially on a track like this. And in front, Van Loosenord 1.2 seconds over Spoelstra, so pulling away very slightly. In P7 we got Adam McNally, and I'd say that we can concentrate on the top two guys because all the four races, the two race winners we had, Van Loosener the first 3 races, and um, Josh Thompson in the fourth race, second race at the Nürburgring, they have basically ran away with the victory. And so they didn't have a lot of camera time. So it's nice to give them camera time to the learn to race guys. Even though, like I will reiterate it once again, the livery used in race 2 was better. I think it was much more colorful. But like I said, I like orange and blue as a combination. So it's unbiased.
So it does look like P1 and P2 collectively have a massive 9 to 10 second lead ahead of the rest of the field actually. So
Yes.
they have a huge lead, and I think they're quite comfortable with their position at the moment, with just I believe 2 minutes left to the end of this first race, and they are holding their ground well.
4 minutes actually. We are
Oh yes, 4 minutes.
entering minute 16 right now. We are lapping in the 1 minute 45-ish. So my maths are terrible, but I think we should have a couple more laps. Maybe even 3. Oh god. I'm not sure about that. Let's have a lap on board with Boris Spoelstra. I think Eric Spoelstra is a basketball coach. Let me check that, because oh yeah, he sure is a basketball coach.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Head coach of the Miami Heat in the NBA. So I was afraid I was going to do this mistake since race 1. It took me, 3 rounds to do that, but I managed, at least that I noticed, because I might have made the same mistake in the earlier rounds. As you can see, the gap fluctuates between 1.2 1 second depending on the section of the track. Speaking of the aero push, like I said, the slipstream effect is very significant. The aero push is also significant. So when you get close, you have of course loss of downforce, and this impacts your ability to corner, etc. But this is mitigated, like I said, by the big slipstream effect. So and of course you can always, well, not always, you can, if you have saved the DRS activations, you can use the DRS, and this is what makes, like I said, racing in this car, I think, particularly exciting, as you can see now on the straight, the gap goes down to 1 second because of said slipstream effect, but it stays there. So it seems like Van Loosenhoorn is heading for another race victory as we start lap 11. And since we have a little bit less than 2 minutes left, I think we are going to have this lap and one more.
So of course, the trade-off with the aero advantages that you have through the slipstream is that you have to brake a bit earlier as you enter the corner, and you just have to turn in that bit more carefully. Of course, that's what Boris has been able to do well with his teammate Martin Van Loosenhoorn right in front of him. So there's perhaps going to be a learn to race 1, 2, 3.
Oh, we have a car upside down on the kink. Is Massimiliano Berta, and that looked like it was a very nasty hit. Ooh, oh, he almost saved it, and then the camera disappears.
iRacing physics for you.
So 1 minute, 50 seconds left. So I think we will have one more lap. Yes.
Because it has and only has been Van Loosenhoorn leading all race long. Of course, he has a highest I rating on the grid of 6,184, which puts him, I believe, in a good position to hold his ground.
Yeah, he's got around 5,100 more A rating than me, which is why I'm a commentator, by the way.
Likewise, I think both of our I ratings are around the same range, so I think we just don't have to bother with racing that hard. And
well, I once got up to 2,700 on the ovals, huh? So once.
All right. Okay.
I don't know if you can see, but they are already exploding fireworks here in Italy, even though it's still the 30th of December, so one day earlier. But like you might know, we like our fireworks here, and one just exploded in the parking lot. Hopefully, didn't come through the microphone, but it was very loud, and it scared me a bit. You don't expect.
Good Italian.
You are commentating on a race, and all of a sudden there's an explosion. You don't expect it, but yeah, hopefully no explosions in the front of the pack, because Van Loosenhoorn deserved this victory. He's been put under pressure by his teammate, who's always been there, but has never been able to come close to get an attack done, as they are about to lap Raul Alvarez, but he won't be lapped, I think, because he's still quite a couple of corners in front of them. And so Martin van Loosenhoorn makes it 4 out of 5. He only missed the victory in race 2 at the Nürburgring, and Boris Spoelstra, just like in the first 2 races at Silverstone, finishes in second place. So it's a 1-2 for Learn to Race. Can they make it a sweep on the podium? That has never happened this season. And I think they will, because Danny Cross finally has a clean race. He will be super happy with that. And he finishes in P3. And what a comeback drive from Matteo Calestani. Was in the gravel in the first lap, and he manages to get up to P4. So he scores some valuable championship points. We're waiting for Joshua Chin and Jamie Wilson, the Team Chimera drivers, and here they come around the final corner. And following them should be Adam McNally in P7. All the drivers are quite spread out in these final few laps of the race, so they can already start thinking about race 2, which will have a reverse grid, and we will know the entity of that reverse as soon as possible, as soon as everyone crosses the start finish line. Also, remember that we have live stewards for this championship, and this is what makes it, I think, very, very interesting. We have, of course, championship organizers David Streed, Michele Costantini, and of course Kevin Ellis Jr. sitting in the stewards room, so they are quite knowledgeable. And of course, the World Championship on racing doesn't have live stewards, and this series has, and I think it's a very, very good thing, as Billy Rose, Northern Lights Racing, the final guy to cross the start-finish line. He will cross it in P11, and we'll see what the reverse grid has in store for us, because, well, it always can put a nice spin to the second race. But the race winner is Martin van Loosenhoorn. Here he is. And let's give him a nice slow motion, because he deserves it. And whilst we, show his nice car, but not as nice as in race 2, I think, Wayan, we can go through the race results if you want.
Sure, let's go for it. So, race 1 here at Road America. We have Van Loosenhoorn, Martin Van Loosenhoorn, a race winner for here, race 1, and his teammate finishing in P2, Boris Spolstra. We've also got another Learn to Race teammate there, Danny Kroos, in P. Let me just get the updated race results. Yes, Matteo Calistani finishes in P4. Joshua Chin, Jamie Wilson, both Chimera teammates, they finish in 5th and 6th. P7 goes to Adam McNally. P8, Byron Daley. P9 and 10 go to David Cudmore and Richard Gaffenku. P11 goes to Billy Rose. P12 goes to Raul Alvarez. P13 goes to Massimo Berta. P14 goes to Jerome Hag. And of course, the other guys who round up your grid: Nicholas Johnston, Ashley Baird, and Thomas No. P15, 16th, and 17th, respectively.
Okay, so let's go with the reverse wheel. So, first 2 rounds we had, round 1 and round 2, I should say, so the first 2 rounds, we had, everyone was eligible for the reverse, so nothing says that this won't be the case in race 3 as well, in round 3, so let's learn who's going to be on pole position for the reverse grid 40-minute feature race. Let's roll it! Well, get your popcorns ready, because we have a full reverse. It's 20 drivers, the maximum possible. We have 17 signed up for the race, so if the organizers, follow what we have had in the first 2 rounds, Thomas Knoll will start in pole position with Ashley Beard in second, and Nick Johnson and Jerome Hag, who at this point I think could be the favorite for the second race. So it's going to be a big fight for Van Loosenhoorn, Spolstra, Kroos, and Calestani and Chin, because they will start from the back of the pack. We will be back in around 10 to 15 minutes. It's time for a commercial break. The league organizers will sort the reverse grid, and we will be back with the second 40-minute race here live from Road America. Catch you in a bit.
3, 2, 1.
Last year I was sitting at a desk as a sales manager, and now I'm official McLaren F1 simulator test driver.
fall behind.
This opportunity is huge.
Oh, that's it, 46 what?
That's faster than the factory McLaren driver, and he's done 6 laps.
Let's go race.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free, both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website. The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkett goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
My name is Steven Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. And from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing.
Before you can get on track, you'll need to calibrate your wheel and pedal set. You'll need to do this in iRacing even if you have already done this using your own controller software. Prior to entering the sim, make sure you've downloaded and installed the latest drivers from the manufacturer's website. Once that's done, follow these easy steps to calibrate your controller. We recommend calibrating in a test session, so pick a car and then click test. Don't go into a practice or official session. The last thing you want to do is have you go on track and crash into another car. Once you're in your test session, click on the options button. You will then see input calibration. This is where your calibration takes place. Start by clicking on the steering button. You will then be prompted to turn your wheel fully one direction and then another. Make sure you place your wheel back into its centering position before hitting done. Now, you'll be asked to turn your wheel 90 degrees to the left. Make sure it's at 90 and hold it there while hitting done. For pedals, click on the pedals button. Here you'll be asked to press the throttle all the way down and then release it. You'll do the same for the brake and clutch pedal if you have one. For the gearbox, you'll first be asked to set buttons for sequential shifting. Once complete, a prompt will ask if you have a H pattern shifter. If not, hit no. If yes, click it and you'll begin to map the gears individually. Once you've completed these steps, you are calibrated and ready to go racing.
chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
Last year I was sitting at a desk as a sales manager, and now I'm official McLaren F1 simulator test driver.
So there's 1.4 behind.
This opportunity is huge.
And so we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for race 2 of the day, Apex Racing League Formula Renault 3.5 Championship. Marco Barbanera and Wei-An Chan in the booth with you, and race 2 is about to start very, very quickly. We go through the starting grid: Thomas Noel, Ashley Beard, then Nick Johnson, Jerome Hag, Max Berta and Raul Alvarez, the top 6, then Billy Rose and Richard Gafencu, Dave Cadmore, Byron Daley, Adam McNally and Jamie Wilson is in P12. And then we have, of course, Joshua Chin, Matteo Calesani, Boris Perstra, and Martin van Loosenhoord. We are ready, 5 seconds away, and this is going to be an absolutely interesting race. We'll see how the quick guys will deal with this big reverse, as the lights are all red. And now we go. Thomas Noel, Ashley Beard. Not the greatest of start from Ashley Beard there, as they go 3 wide into the first corner. Thomas Noel is able to keep the position so far. Jerome Hag also trying. Oh man, most of them are in the gravel, and behind them also many drivers take evading action from the chaos. Jerome Hag loses a lot of position down to P9. And of course you have to be super careful, but the winner so far is Nick Johnson, who is in first. Thomas Noel is in third, trying to get a move on Ashley Beard.
I look like a little bit of a constipated start there. But of course, Nick Johnson emerged victorious, but he has a lot of pressure from Ashley Beard and Thomas Noel, as we have drivers all the time. There are big incident contact there. I think that's between Jerome Hag and Danny Crows, so that unfortunately puts them all the way back down to the rear end of the grid. Nick Johnston currently leading with Ashley Beard not too far behind in P2, and Thomas Noel in P3. Max Berta is in P4, and this looks to be a 3-way battle at this point. A crowd here as well, focusing now on Joshua Chin, one of the faster drivers as we've seen from the race earlier on. And we're now back, so it is not only a top 3 breakaway, but now Thomas Noel trying to make a move as they break away from the field. Nearly 2 wide there through the King, 2 wide through this section as they now heading to Canada. And there we go, Thomas Noel at P2.
I think we had a massive crash for Max Berta at the King. Oh dear.
Oh, that was not pleasant at all.
Oh, and he got slightly clipped by one of the Team Chimera drivers, and
the front wing disappeared.
Yeah, and Max Berta is straight into the pits. Bad luck for him. Thomas Noel, Ashley Beard, with cold tires, and especially earlier in the race, that going side by side there is absolutely a scary proposition for these guys, as we see Calestani battling with Rose, and we get the battle box up. Yes, here we go. And who was that guy? I think it was maybe Joshua Chin, I don't know, or maybe it was I'm looking also at Danny Crows. And the leader is in the wall at the right hander, 90 degrees after the backstretch, and behind them Joshua Chin is around in the same corner. So we have a new leader. It is Thomas Noel and Joshua Chin, of course, and Dave Cadmore is around as well. It's all happening in a span of a couple of seconds. Let's see what happened, because the race leader was, I wouldn't say comfortably in the lead, but certainly he was looking good. Then I think the mistake we've seen many times today on the power too early or too aggressively coming out of this corner. Good for Nick Johnston, that seems like he didn't hit the barrier.
Of course, that corner, you have to be very careful with your exit, because I think just a surface there that will lead to a car to go unstable. As we bring the cameras back to, I believe, P3 to P6, Van Loosenhoord now, winner of a race earlier, he now battles Jamie Wilson, Team Chimera. And now this is a good 4-way battle that's going to unfold now. Positions 3, 4, 5, and 6. Slipstream going to the advantage of Van Loosenhoord, as he now goes, tries to go side by side through this straight, but Wilson still has that slight bit of advantage as they top out their top speed. Into turn 1, and then turn 2 they come. So no changes to the top positions 3 to 6. But of course, a great shout out to Spolstra, who's climbed 13 positions up to P3 where he currently stands.
Yeah, and I think it's the first time that Spolstra has been, apart. Oh, I will save my thoughts for later because 3 wide, and both Wilson and Van Loosenord make quick work of Gafencuder. Now they are side by side, Wilson and Van Loosenord. Seems like Wilson is able to keep the position for now. It's the first time I think, besides the race starts and the reverse grids, that Spolstra has got a nice advantage over Van Loosenord, who now makes the move on Wilson. Gafencu
this is so
on
close.
the outside. You have to be super careful here. They seem to be careful with that is, I think, Johnston making his comeback on the outside, and behind them Wilson and Calestani. They have to be careful. Oh man, and they survive to tell the tale. So we will see if Van Loosenord is able to catch and pass his teammate, who is very quick on his own, but we've always seen Van Loosenord being just a little bit quicker, so it's going to be interesting to see if they are able to pull another 1-2, maybe in a reverse order, as Calestani goes on the inside of Wilson and completes the pass, and is up to P7.
Of course, we had a great view of the five-way battle pack from Calestani's former Renault 3.5. And right now, Nick Johnston got a good slipstream of Gafencu. And now it is 2 wide. Oh, 2 slipstreams, doubleheader through the straight, and now over to turn 1. And it is, which car is it leading there up front?
Thomas Knoll.
Yes, Thomas Knoll. Yep, I think he's been spared from all the drama that's unfolded behind there, and he seems to be quite comfortable with where he is. Nick Johnston back again. All right, 2 wide through this left-hander again. Very careful. You do not want to mess up your corner exit here.
Oof.
Ever so close. Look at how close the wheels were to each other as they now come back again and exit the corner. Of course, Johnston, I think, trying all he can to find a way through Gafencu.
Calestani on the inside.
Calestani inside and contact.
That was a overly optimistic move by Calestani, and I think that the stewards will give him a penalty because I don't think there was enough space there.
Yeah, it was a bit too optimistic of an attempt by Calestani. As we have a look at the replay here of the cockpit, just dived into the inside, and I think he just could not maintain his line well enough throughout the corner to keep to his line, and fortunately they came into contact. Now back live again to Calestani as they now come through the last corner. Of course, this is a good area to slingshot, get a good exit here, and you stand a chance to get a good slipstream through this long
Behind Kroos, you see Daley and Calestani side by side. Of course, as we see some cones getting ran over, unfortunately, there. It's a dangerous job to be a cone on iRacing. Just spare a thought for Nick Johnston, because once again he has to climb all the way back. He was, of course, he spun in the beginning of the race, and now has been hit by his rival there, Calestani, and now is down to P12. Once again, as in front of them, you see some more contact, I think, with Wilson going wide. I think he just got a little bit of a touch from Gafencu, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very slight contact, as behind them Kroos, Daley, Calestani, Ag, and also McNally and Johnston. But at the front, Boris Spolstra has finally caught up with Thomas Knoll and is looking for the lead of the race, with Ashley Beard is 2 seconds behind him, and Van Loosenord also looking for a move on Ashley Beard as well. So the Learn to Race guys are looking for P3 and P1 respectively.
So it is perhaps Loosenord got a good slipstream as we have a contact between the race leader and P2, and there comes Loosenord and I think Ashley Beard, who's made capitalized on that incident and they've shot themselves up front. Spolstra, your new race leader as they complete this lap and come towards the start-finish line again. Van Loosner up to P2. And wow, what a little incident there.
I don't know the damage on the car of the new race leader. Let's see. I think he broke on the grass. You can see from the slow motion. He hit him on the left rear. So I thought he hit him on the side pod. So I think that maybe Spolstra got away with that because if he hit him on the side pod, that could have been some race-ending damage. And it seems like Noel's front wing is not okay. On the front right, you see it is a little bit bent. So once again,
it's okay to me though.
Well, in my, iRacing is weird sometimes. At the Nürburgring, I thought that Josh Thompson's wing was destroyed, and then one lap later it was perfect. So who knows? We will see. But we have once again learned to race guys first and second. But look at this! Oh, and Ag Johnston once again. McNally also involved. We have many cars involved in this one. As Ag is in the gravel. Damage to his front wing. This time is absolutely clear. Let's get it from the chopper and see what happened.
Making their way through this corner. Contact on the rear and then the side pod and there.
Johnston
That's how you launch a Formula Renault 3.5.
Yeah, Johnston this time I think can only blame himself because he hit there Jerome Ag. Jerome Ag had a very good round at the Nürburgring, but now he's not having a good day at the office. Cross, Gafencu, Wilson and Daley 5th through 8th in this very close battle. Thomas Nolly 6.3 seconds behind, in front of them, sorry. Yes. Look at that, side by side, Wilson and Gafencu. They've been battling hard all day. And Wilson makes the move. Jerome Ag is in the pits, so did Calestani. Calestani, I think, got a penalty. One of the stewards of the racing officials is a teammate of mine and usually sends me updates of the penalties, but today apparently forgot. Too much Christmas celebration, and of course Michele, you will be punished after the race. Of course, talking about IndyCar Primetime Series champion Michele Costantini. And Gafencu goes by Wilson once again, and Byron Daley is in P8. Nick Johnston now in P9. Joshua Chin and Jerome Ag, I think they have big damage because they've been in the pits for a while. Like I said, Calestani got a penalty. Jerome Ag is out of the pits now. We'll see if Johnston gets a penalty, I think, for that contact with Jerome Ag a couple of laps ago, which caused Ag to go around and ultimately make a trip to the pits.
Here we go, Byron Daley, P8 at the moment, sitting behind the Team Camara car of Jamie Wilson. So he slingshots himself through the Canada corner, and he has a couple of corners left to the next long straight. Of course, he comes here, takes advantage of the little bit of slipstream that's been available to him. Now he makes his way through the last corner, and he's going to have to sit square to the rear end of the Camara car right in front of him. Although I think the slipstream has not really played to Daley's favor. As we just said that, Wilson made the move ahead of Gafencu. I think Gafencu just went to the inside, tried to defend the inside line, but Wilson just made the move ahead. But Gafencu perhaps coming for a comeback, gone a little bump there on the exit, and now it is a second stretch that they have. Slipstream battle again. Gafencu closing the gap a bit, but now the gap extends again as they now come to this braking zone again. Along the inside comes Gafencu. Is he gonna make it? Yes, he does. But there is the next corner that they may take side by side. Of course, Gafencu seals that move and he goes to P6. Of course, great driving by Gafencu and Wilson.
Fantastic stuff, Weian. Absolutely great wheel-to-wheel racing, and when done respectfully, it really does wonders to the show that these guys are putting on. And in front of them, in front of these guys, is Danny Kroos. The lap times, Boris Spoelstra is lapping a bit quicker than Van Loosenord in these last few laps. I tell you what, I think we have the new fantastic piece of overlay that our great Pascal Egelin created. But before that, I think we have a crash for Nick Johnston.
Yep,
See?
as he comes over the kink. Yeah, that's where you lose traction if you don't get the right line through the corner.
As we go back live, like I said, the man behind the overlay, SDK Gaming, Pascal Egelin, created this new feature. As I cannot show it to you because we are still having this fantastic battle between Gafenku, Daley, and Wilson. And this time is Wilson drops back to P8, but of course I think he will have enough steam to make the move on the backstretch, and so he does.
Jamie Wilson making the move on Gafenku again, or was that Byron Daley?
It is Daley, yeah.
Yep, made the move on Daley, and I think it's going to come, perhaps attempt a comeback on Gafenku. A little bit loose there. You do not want to push the Renault 3.5 too hard over that corner, as he now comes over this section. Of course, this corner, this very corner, I think is a full throttle right-hander. So it is quite tricky as they now come again to the braking zone and prepare themselves for the long carousel and then the kink again. So Wilson versus Daley, who's going to emerge as the one, perhaps who's going to emerge with the advantage over here? Is this going to be a too wide? No too wide through the kink. Good conservative driving by both of them. Daley going ever so closely to the rear gearbox of Wilson, and they now come again to Canada corner.
Yeah, it is impossible to separate these two guys. They are so close to each other, and they have been for quite a bit. As I think now it will be Byron's time to profit from the slipstream and try to make a move in the first corner.
Alright, top speed. Listen to the V8 engine, it roars so mightily as they come along this main straight. Byron Daley, I think, separated a little further from Jamie Wilson, but he now comes back to the corner again. Yep, riding on Wilson. Of course, Wilson has his own targets set on Gafenku, just as how Daley has his sights set on Wilson. So, not exactly a close three-way battle at this point. But of course, anything can happen in racing. And Wilson attempting to go along the outside, but Gafenku went in and defended the inside line.
It's a bit of a moment there for Gafenku coming out of the left-hander. They are not closing on Danny Kroos, I think, even though he's still there. They can see him, but since he's all alone and these three guys are battling wheel to wheel, have been doing so for the past 3-4 laps. Of course, Kroos is able to get a little bit of an advantage. See the aero push on Wilson. He had to lift through the carousel because he was missing, of course, downforce. But look at the slipstream effect through the kink. Fantastic stuff. Look at the overspeed on the left side. Wow. Can he complete
fantastic.
the pass? He can. Oh, he's a bit... Oh, that was a bit too much. And he loses one spot.
The drawback with all the aero boosts is that you have less downforce and you have to brake much earlier, or just a bit earlier, much earlier in this case, to make up for that grip they require to make the corner. Let's have a look at the replay again, Mark.
Yeah, let's watch it again. Look at the overspeed. It was all good. I think he could have stopped the car, but maybe just a fraction of a second too late on the brakes. He didn't want to lock up the tires, and then he went for a ride in the gravel, and of course he lost then not only the position he just gained, but also another position as well. But He will be on these guys once again very quickly because now Gafenko is defending from Daley. And we are once again on the long straight, if we can call it a straight.
Right. It looks like can't recognize the cars, but yeah. I think Gafenko held on to his position. So it is still Gafenko versus Daley over this sector of the circuit as they come through these series of corners again. Gafenko leads Daley, but of course they're gonna set themselves up for the following corners that will provide them more opportunities to overtake. Wilson, still in P8. Of course he just attempted to go ahead, but fell short as he missed his braking point earlier. King again, round 2. Now it is a Daley versus Gafenko. Are we gonna see a repeat of that again? Squeeze on the inside. Yes, no. Oh, so close.
Gotta
Almost
be careful
wheel-to-wheel
here.
contact.
Wow.
Ah!
And Daley is out. I think there was a very slight lag contact there. Or just Daley got a little bit surprised, or he was a little bit too careful there. And he went into the gravel. No, nothing major, but of course now is Jamie Wilson profiting from this. And now, since they are a little bit spread out, I can show you this new fantastic overlay that Pascal has prepared for us. And here we go, you can see the comparison of the last 4 laps, and Van Loosenhoorn, slowly but surely, is closing in on his teammate in the front of the pack, and with half of the race left, we could have a very tasty battle on our hands.
Right, let me just wait for this stream to follow up because I don't have the overlay running. But it's okay. I have the numbers here. Looks a lot like what you see on TV, which is great.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Also, I have to thank Scott Newton for. Yeah, Scott Newton helped me set up. Basically, I use this iRacing Grand Prix Series overlay as a base, and he did a great job in setting all the screens in the right way. So he did all the job. I just changed the logos and put the drivers in. But yeah, I mean, this was, of course, we say hello to Scott, and this throws us back to the days of the Sim Racers Asia GT Championship.
Oh man, I miss those days, man.
Yeah, those were the days,
it was
man.
life for me before I went into the army, man. I miss those days.
No, it could have been the beginning of one of the jokes. No, there's a guy from Italy, a guy from Singapore, and a guy from Australia. Like,
pretty much.
You couldn't name 3 more random places on the earth. Okay, I think everyone saw the lap times, so we can go back to our very nice battle box and back to Jamie Wilson, Richard Gafenko, and Byron Daley. Why not?
Jamie Wilson attempting to make the pass. That was an easy pass through ahead of Gafenko. So Wilson back up to P6. Rather up to P6, and that was, I think, very easy for him. Did he deploy the?
You know, it's very tough to notice because this works the opposite way of the F1 DRS. It basically closes a little bit of a gap on the rear wing between the different elements, and this may sound counterintuitive, but I read a piece on the iRacing forum, so I don't remember where exactly, that explains that since air is a fluid, it makes it flow faster. I am absolutely not a technician. I have no idea, but it works. But it's very difficult to notice. And I have been waiting for a couple of weeks. Forgot to talk to Sam Fitzpatrick, our camera master. The leader is in the wall! And Eric Spoelstra throws away a race win and a potential podium in a spectacular fashion, completely destroying his car.
Yep, I think his front wing is missing, parts here and there missing, and that's just unfortunate for Spoelstra, who had such a fantastic drive all afternoon long. And he hands his race lead to his teammate Van Loosen.
Oh, they hit! They had contact with each other. I thought this was coming out of the kink, but it wasn't. It was coming out of Canada corner. Maybe we can get a better look at the crash from, you know, up high instead of looking at the crash behind the trees. Okay, this would, I think, would be a better... Oh, there was a lapped car, so maybe Sportstra... Ah, no, sorry, it was the lapped car that hit Sportstra. Apologies. Apologies. He will be furious. Who was that? It was Raul Alvarez. Man, oh man. This is a unbelievable surprise. And once again, Boris Sportstra was comfortably in the lead, and now he's sitting in the pits. Let's get a replay from Alvarez on board. He lost the car, of course. It's not, you know, he didn't do that on purpose, of course. And I think he will be kicking himself because he knows he did, you know, he did something that, you know, you never want to take out the race leader from the race.
Yeah, just notice the Lucky Strike logo on his nose cone there. I think that's coincidence. Cameras back to Ashley Bates sitting in P2. Of course, Van Loosnot still has a huge 17-second gap ahead of the rest of the field. So it is Ashley Bates leading the rest of the field now. Potential three-way battle for P2. Bates, Knoll, and Kroos.
Say hello to Euro V8 champion, Season 4 champion Michael Evdoka, who is joining us in the chat. As now, all of a sudden, look at, yeah, you were right, Danny Kroos is sitting in P4, so Gafencu, Daley are here. We lost Nick Johnston somewhere, or I forgot about something that happened earlier. No, we lost Nick Johnston. Oh, and the King strikes again, and he was battling with Daley and Gafencu, and now he's sadly in the pits. But look at this fantastic battle for second place with Beard, Knoll, and Kroos all together. He's absolutely fantastic.
Let's stick to this battle that's unfolding. No, rather bad. Going a little bit, little too slow over there. Wow, Gafencu trying to make a move to the left and right. He went as Gafencu just made the move, or rather, Knoll just made the route move ahead of Gafencu. So sorry, I think I got the positions confused. So
Don't
there's
worry, man.
Kroos, yeah, Kroos
It's
in.
Beard, Kroos, and Knoll, second, third, and fourth, as they come through the kink for the 15th time, and they are battling very, very hard.
Oh, there's too wide through this right-hander, Canada corner, I believe. No, very close there, almost very, very close to Beard as they left the corner. As he now comes to the final corner, now this is going to be an opportunity for each car to make use of the slipstream of one another. So let's just see how this will unfold as they make their way through this main stretch.
As I always notice the beautiful classic Renault livery for Thomas Knoll. He's a privateer, so he runs whatever he likes, and that is the classic Renault yellow teapot, I'd say, livery. Of course, the modern interpretation that we see also in Formula 1 and in their junior program with the Formula Renault 2.0. This very, very distinctive livery, as now the gaps, you know, get a little bit bigger between these three guys. Right behind them, once again, and still, Gafencu and Daley, now sadly without the company of Nick Johnston. They have been left alone to fight for P5, and as you can see, Daley went just a bit wide there at turn 4, and now it's Gafencu. He has to defend, and I think Daley will have a big, big run through the kink, as Danny Kroos also here with Beard and Knoll. We need a split screen. I always say this. Sadly, iRacing doesn't support this split screen, but I would love to have that because we have two battles, and two very exciting battles at that. Just focus a bit on this one, seems to be the closer one, and the guy who's behind the king has always this massive overspeed with over the car in front of him. But look at Gafenko defending very, very nicely. But now he has the outside. They have to be super careful here. They don't touch. I have no idea how they made that work. But
they
Gafenko
made that
is still
work.
in front. Yeah, I mean, the important thing is that they made it work. But oh, little bit of a mistake from Gafenko. Can Daley profit? Not at the moment. But he will have a massive amount of slipstream through the front stretch, slightly pointing upwards. And here comes Daley on the inside of Gafenko, and he should be able to complete the pass into the first corner. He does.
Yep, he made the slingshot, not only through the main stretch, but also a stretch right before that. So there goes his position. Now cameras on to Ashley Baird and Thomas Knoll again. Attempting, I think it was, Baird attempting to make the move ahead of Knoll. But half a second, or rather 0.3 of a second, sit between them at this point.
Yeah, and Danny Cross has been able to pull away from this battle and now sitting in P2. And you know, I was a bit concerned about Danny Cross because he had some problems in the beginning of the race, but now he's sitting in P2 and looking likely like it could be another podium for him after not having a good start of the season. It could have been once again a hat-trick for the Learn to Race guys, but sadly Boris Sporstra, like you saw earlier, is sitting with a destroyed race car in the pits because Raul Alvarez, a lapped car, lost it coming out of Canada corner and unfortunately came right into the path of our former race leader, and that was all she wrote for Boris Sporstra and his race 2 here at Road America. 9 minutes, a bit less than that to be honest, to the end of the race. Van Loosenhoorn, let's go quickly through the field and give some camera time to all these guys. Martin Van Loosenhoorn, the race leader, and I'd say the championship leader. He is on course to win the 5th race out of 6 so far in the championship. Behind him is teammate Danny Cross, and then is Thomas Knoll with the Renault livery. Excite Racing, Ashley Beard sitting in P4, a very quick driver with many different kind of cars. Byron Daley sitting in P5 for Scuderia Carolina, and in P6 is Beard's teammate Richard Gafenko, also a quick driver with the GT cars and GT3 cars, and now with the Formula Renault. Dave Cadmore, he's been with us since the beginning, since the days of the iRacing Grand Prix Series, the official series, way back when, and he is sitting in P7 for Solar Feder Racing. Matteo Calestani hit with a penalty and probably he's got some damage as well. He is sitting in P8. Adam McNally rounds up the proceedings in P9, and also he is from Excite Racing. And so I think I will also have to update very quickly the overlay because he's not showing his team name.
Whilst you're doing that, Danny Cross just lost 2 positions. He's now dropped from P2 to P4.
And Ashley Beard is in the pits. What's going on there? Ashley Beard is in the pits and Danny Cross. So a pit stop, of course, is not required in this race. So either he miscalculated the fuel. Let's get a replay of that. Oh, Danny Cross, I think, made a mistake, possibly. Because they were all together once again. Knoll went around. Cross saved it. So, even though he's proceeding slowly. So, this is a mystery.
I think just a little...
Okay, maybe it's this one. That was a bit too early, that replay I just showed you. Here is the right one. Danny Cross is around. Didn't hit the wall. So he's able to go back, get back on the track. Now, who's the other guys that we are missing? Ashley Beard. Was he out of fuel? Let's see. Or maybe he got a penalty, but I don't remember him hitting anyone. Seems to be completely, you know, full power, so I don't know what happened there. Is he back on track? Yes, he is, down in P8.
Not too long left till checkered flag. Van Loos not still your race leader. Thomas Knoll still in second. And of course, we've got 9 drivers, only 9 drivers left in the lead lap. And 5 drivers 1 lap or more behind.
But at least we've got the right team name for Adam McNally now.
Good.
Yeah, so that was a bit. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Once again, I don't remember Ashley Beard hitting anyone or causing a collision. I'm looking at the. Oh, he's off. He's off and he's out of the race. Oh man, and that is things went bad very very quickly for Ashley Beard, from a potential podium to an unscheduled stop, probably a penalty, and now this. And there's no coming back from this crash. Weyan is a big hit, and he jumped straight to the pits.
Absolutely not. The way he left, his car flew off a trajectory and slammed right into the concrete wall. Of course, this is Road America for you. It is a fun track. It is a track great for racing and for high-speed action. But if you're not careful with the way you handle your car, the wall is there to make up for that.
And exactly, this is why it's good that like Formula 1 never came to this place, because they would have to change so much, and this is why we like this track. Quick, but also unforgiving. We have got 3 minutes left in the race. Martin van Loosenhoorn is here, you see him, and Danny Cross and Thomas Knoll are here on the start-finish line, and I think we can have a battle for P2, because Cross is lapping quicker than his opponent in the last few laps. And of course, let's put the lap on the screen since we can do it. And as you can see, Danny Cross of course was in front, then had his problem, his spin, but now he's gaining, and he's gaining a lot of time over Thomas Knoll. You see 1.3 seconds in lap 19, 1.7 seconds in lap 20. It's going to be a tough job for Thomas if he wants to keep this position, unless he decides, I didn't have a good championship so far, P2, P3 is still a podium, a nice position, I will fight, but I won't fight very hard. At least that's what I would do, but of course there's a reason why I'm sitting here, and he's got almost 2,500 I rating, so there's a difference. He's a guy that wants to win probably, so he will fight with Danny Cross. And since Van Loosenhoorn is starting now his lap, we will have maybe 2 more laps after this one.
So is this going to be a fight to the finish between Knoll and Cross? We'll just have to see about it as they come over through the last of the corners of this track. Knoll leading Cross by just 0.4 of a second, and that gap is just closing slowly as they now come again to the main straight with opportunity for Danny Cross to make.
And Knoll is in the
just
pits.
said that in the pits.
Maybe a miscalculation with the fuel or a penalty again. Wow.
And that hands P2 to Cross.
Yeah, and Byron Daley should be promoted now to P3. Weyan, now that I think about it, this track, unless these are penalties, which is possible, but I'm not getting any notification from race control. It's a track that many times has caught drivers out in many categories with fuel loads. So let's see. Now he goes up on the jack, so this is not a penalty. I think this is a straight, because usually they give a drive-through, the race steward. This is a quick tire change, and because it's very quick, so they do it. And then maybe fuel, I have no idea, or maybe the tires were gone. I should read my rule book better, because I don't remember if refueling is allowed or not in these cars. I don't think it is, but that's something that we'll have to clarify for the next round. This is why it's good to have a, direct line with stewards. As Danny Cross is around at the carousel, will we have another lap? I think we will, because Martin Van Loosener crosses the finish line right now. So Danny Cross, well, he has 2 seconds over Daley, but he's had many mistakes today. He got away with this one, but he cannot make another mistake, because Byron Daley is there. And whilst the race for the lead, well, it has been exciting, because also we had that big moment with, sadly, Spolstra getting taken out. The battle for the other positions have been very nice, and we'll see. Maybe we will have this battle for second place, even though with a different actor instead of Thomas Knoll. We will have Byron Daley. We'll see as we enter the final lap for these 2 guys as well.
Of course, the gaps are a little more spread apart, so I think it's going to be a little more difficult, at least from positions 2 through to 4, for them to trade positions again. But as I've just said, that P2 and 3 have just closed up by a bit. Van Loosener, man of the race, current race leader, as he makes his way through the kink. Of course, it has been him and, well, he started all the way from, due to a reverse grid, he started from all the way from the rear end at P17, and he's fought all the way back up, or rather fought all the way up here to the race lead. So as he comes through the final corners, it will be the Dutchman who's going to take the checker flag here. Around the final corner he comes. Is he gonna do a celebratory maneuver? No, yes he does. And race winner, Van Loosener, Road America, round 3?
Yes, round 3, race 2. And Daley is super close to Danny Cross. Will we see a last lap pass, a last lap effort from the Scuderia Carolina driver, who has gained a lot of time? Yeah, last ditch, that was the word I was looking for. It seems like this won't be the case, and Danny Cross will score another podium. Well, he was going to score a podium regardless. Daley is so close. Will he have enough time? Maybe not, because the start-finish line is approaching. And here we go. Danny Cross is in second and Daley is in third. But what a fantastic race. Once again, from the Learn to Race guys, it could have been very easily another hat-trick. Gafenkus is in fourth, and Thomas Knoll, after his pit stop, is... let's see the guy that have pitted. Knoll and Calestani have stopped, of the guys that are still on the track. Knoll finishes in P5, of course Calestani had a penalty. Cadmore is in P6, and here comes Calestani in 7th. And last but not least, it's going to be Adam McNally in the Excite iRacing car. And I'd say, if one thing pops out immediately, it's the huge attrition rate that we are having in the longer races. In all 3 rounds, the second race has been survival of the fittest. And the guys that have been able to finish the race have been very, very good. And of course, the guy that won 5 of the 6 rounds deserves most of the praise. Martin Van Loosener. He needed a bit of luck today, and I'm sure he will be disappointed for his teammate. But with 5 wins out of 6, he takes an early and very commanding lead on the championship.
was a great performance by all the drivers. Of course, everyone has driven hard and well tonight. It's just unfortunate that some drivers have it good, some drivers don't have it as well as they would have wished, and therefore we have the results as race winner Martin van Loosnot. A total race time of 41 minutes 39 seconds. So that is a blistering fast one. Danny Crows in P2. Of course, Byron Daley and Richard Gafenko. Great driving by Gafenko as well. Great pace from him today. They take P3 and 4. Thomas Snow, David Cudmore, they take P5 and 6. Matthew Calistani, Adam McNally, P7 and 8. Ashley Bitt, Jamie Wilson, P9 and 10. And of course, we've also got drivers who've unfortunately not been able to complete the full number of laps to remain on the lead lap. These drivers are towards the other end of the grid. Boris Bolstra, P11, Raul Alvarez in P12, Billy Rose, P13, Nicholas Johnston, P14, Jerome Hack, Joshua Chin, and Massimo Berta, 15th, 16th, and 17th. They round up your finishing grid for this afternoon.
We have a couple of drivers waiting for an interview. We will start, of course. How could we not start with our race winner, Martin van Loosenhoorn? Martin, 5 out of 6. It is an absolute domination in the championship so far. And of course, it wasn't easy starting from the final place today. But still, it looked like your teammate was going to win the race. And then, of course, we had that moment with the lapped car. And you were able to run away with a victory after that.
Well, I mean, it's quite true what you're saying. Very unlucky for Boris, first of all, because yeah, you never hope something like that happens. I don't know who's to blame, but I think it's difficult for him. But nonetheless, next races he will do better, and I'm really proud of him that he is so, yeah, this track is quite good for him, I think. We were really, I think we were in within a second every race. So that says enough about the pace of Boris on this track. And I love that. And I'm, of course, quite happy that I won both races, but I didn't want to win race 2 like this. That was a bit, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, from our perspective, it was quite clear. Sadly, Raul lost the car coming out of Canada corner, and he, spun straight in the path of Boris. There was nothing Boris could have done there. It sucks for everyone when it is like this, because I'm sure Raul is kicking himself. Of course, Boris couldn't do anything and was in the lead, and we were looking forward to this fight between you guys, especially since it looked like it was the reversal of what happened in race 1, when you were able to be, to keep the gap 1 second, 1.2 seconds. Seemed like Boris was able to do the same. So we were let's see if they can, close on each other, etc. Sadly, it wasn't the case. Next week we are going to Japan, to Suzuka for round 4, and I think we are keeping with this theme of very, very technical racetracks. What are your thoughts about the Japanese track?
I love the track. It's an amazing track. Yeah, it's got everything in it. High speed, low speed, technical parts where you can win or lose. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how the overtaking will be, but there will be it's definitely high downforce, so you can play with DRS, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that overtaking has not been a problem with this car, so I think it's going to be a nice one as well. Martin, congratulations once again, and Happy New Year, and catch you on the 6th of January then.
Thank you, you guys too.
And that was our race winner, Martin van Loosenhoorn, and now we have second place driver, Danny Crows. Finally, a good round for you. After some problems in the beginning of the season. Today you also had some moments, but what counts is what the standings say at the end. Third place in race 1, second place in race 2. You must be delighted.
Yeah, of course I'm happy because the first 2 rounds were really bad. Had some problems with the wheel and everything, so finally now I could be on the position where I need to be, so I'm happy.
What is the toughest thing that you have so far had to deal with when getting used to this car? Because like we said after the first round at Silverstone, the car is very new and the league basically was created in a matter of days, and you drivers didn't have a lot of chances and a lot of time to get used to the car. Do you think you are still getting used to the car, or do you feel now confident that you have, going forward, an idea, general idea of what's working and what is not working, and how you have to approach the car?
No, I think I'm still learning every time I drive the car. It's of course a really hard car because you have a lot of power, and at the end of the long race, for sure, on this track, the rear tires were completely burnt. So then you have a lot of problems with going on the throttle, and corners that are normally easily flat are not flat anymore. So that's really hard to change. Yeah, every lap is different.
I was talking to your teammate just a few moments ago, and of course we have Suzuka coming next. What are your thoughts about the track, and do you think you can keep up with the good round you had today?
Yeah, I think so. Suzuka is more my track, and I know that I'm fast there, so yeah, for sure that will be much better.
Well, we wish you a happy new year as well, and we will catch you on the 6th for the 4th round of the championship. Congratulations, Danny Cross, second place in race 2.
Thank you.
And last, but certainly not least, it's our third classified driver of the day for Scuderia Carolina is Byron Daley. Hello, Byron.
How's it going?
Doing fine, and it was a good drive for you. I think you will be very, very happy with this third place in race 2. So we are noticing that we noticed that many drivers went into the pits, and some of them went to get, I think, a splash of fuel. Others were saying that the tires were completely destroyed by the end of the race. How did you find it, especially in the final part of the second race? Because we saw many, many drivers either go to the pits or straight out making mistakes and going out of the race.
Yeah, I was confused by that myself because I was really good on fuel. I actually feel like I overfilled the car, and tire wise, I had a little bit of front wing damage from my scrappy start there, so I was understeering a good amount, but I didn't feel like the tires were, going off. I just felt like it was just a wing damage. So I was surprised to see what I saw, but and it's not surprising at the same time. It's a little hard to guess on a time race how much fuel you need.
We were talking with the other guys, and of course, we had a chat on the upcoming race, which is going to be Suzuka. But I don't want to ask you about Suzuka because we have had already 2 drivers talking about that. We have many. We have 2 more races in North America: Road Atlanta on January 27th. In the United States, sorry, and of course, Circuit of the Americas on the 17th. You had a good showing in your first home race at Road America. Which one of the tracks are you looking forward the most, Road Atlanta or Circuit of the Americas?
Actually, Circuit of the Americas has quickly grown on me as a racetrack. When I first started running laps there, I hated that track, and I kind of learned how to drive it, and I kind of learned to like it after that. So I'm actually looking forward to Austin over Road Atlanta. I mean, Road Atlanta is fun. It's just the technical bits of Austin are what make it special, and it's pretty fun once you figure it out.
So I think you can head into the new year with a smile on your face. Do you think you can keep up with this good result you had today?
Honestly, it was a little bit of a scrappy race, and that kind of helped me out a lot. I'm still learning how to be better at road racing. I'm from the oval side, the stock car side of things. So for me, just running this league and kind of getting to run the guys that are constantly up front is always going to help me. But I feel like this is probably going to be a one-off for the moment. Probably targeting seventh to fifth at the moment, depending on how the competition goes from this point forward. But it's always good to get a podium. You got to be there to have a chance.
You know, I might be Italian, I am Italian, but sim racing wise, I grew up with the NASCAR racing series by Papyrus, so I feel your pain switching from the stock cars to the downforce cars. And you are doing great because I still have to finish a race, an official race with this car, so it is very, 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 very tough to get used. Completely different style of driving, and I will be rooting for you from now on because it's good to have drivers from the oval side come switch to the road side just to have some fun and change it up. Congratulations, Byron, and happy New Year to you as well.
Thank you. You guys too.
And that was that for us. I just noticed that we did the entire broadcast on the general channel and not on the commentators room. But it's the end of the year. It's that time of the year, Weian. Everything gets, a little bit, let's give it a pass for today. And it was a nice round. I think that you really enjoyed it. It was there was a lot of great battling. Everyone that has Sam Fitzpatrick also said this last week. He didn't commentate on race one. He joined us for round two, and he said fantastic stuff. There is no comparison with the MP430. Much more action, much more fun. I think that you would agree with that assessment. This is a much needed change in pace for a racing open wheel for the open wheel scene. So we have this is a much needed change, and we are all thankful for that.
Sure, it is always welcome that new things are available to us. Of course, Renault 3.5 is one of those cars that unfortunately retired in real life, but something that would bring a lot of fun to us in the service as racing fans in general. Of course, race tonight has been, or rather this afternoon. Sorry, it's night here in Singapore. The race this afternoon has been.
It's
So,
night here as well, So I
okay.
mean, when daylight saving is over, it gets dark at 4 p.m. here, so it's 5:30, so it's quite dark.
I see. Yeah, no, yeah. It's been a fantastic race tonight. We've just seen how careful you have to be with the Renault 3.5. I think even the Formula the MP430, you don't have to be that exactly that cautious. As we've just seen with those cars, these 3.5s here at Road America today, they are, I think, a beast to handle.
Yeah, they absolutely are. They are very tough to drive, and well, like these drivers were saying, some of them were really struggling with the tire wear at the end. So you have to be gentle. You have to respect the car, and of course, like I said, this is a very new car, new league that is only in its third week. So I think that the more weeks we have the drivers have under their belts, the more we will see the drivers get better and better. And I cannot wait for the next round. Of course, at Suzuka, one of my favorite tracks. So it's going to be great. And Wayan, I absolutely thank you for stepping up today and help me cover the series. It was a great pleasure having you back in the booth.
Sure, it's only my pleasure to come commentate with you tonight again, man. I absolutely love doing this, and yeah, as much whatever opportunity I get to come commentate again, yeah, something that I've been enjoying doing, and I think same with you.
And so, let me use the old phrase I used at the end of the SRA GT series because we are at the end of the broadcast. So if you are in the United States, especially on the East Coast, I think time for a brunch, maybe even start thinking about lunch. If you are from Europe, well, it's time to start thinking about dinner. And if you are like Weian from the eastern side of the world, it's time to tuck those bed sheets very, very close to you and add to have a nice night of sleep. It has been a pleasure to be with you. We will come back on Tuesday with the MX5 BSR Championship. Wednesday is the Le Mans Series. Thursday, the Radicals. And of course, Sunday, we will be back from Suzuka with the Apex Racing League Formula Renault 3.5 Championship from everyone here at Apex Racing TV. We wish you a happy new year and we will catch you in 2019. Have a good night.